Yo. Welcome to Starbucs in the Morning. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, we got Jim Rosati. Jim, happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Good morning. Doubleheader yesterday was a little rough, so I had a good night's sleep.
Did you? That's good to hear.
I did. Yeah.
I can't say I had a good night's sleep, but it is what it is. But that was rough. That was a long day.
It was a long day just for us, just watching the game and not even like doing anything. I can't even imagine, if you attended both games or if you worked both games or, the players. Split double headers, in my opinion, are just like the worst things that baseball ever created. Like if you're going to have a double header, just play it back to back. Like there's no reason for an hour and a half, 2 hours in between. Like let's just do it like we always used to. There were like 10,000 fans in the stands that second game. Like you telling me we couldn't have held a regular doubleheader there, but whatever.
Yeah, that's money reasons, but whatever.
Whole other topic. Yeah.
Yeah, let's Welcome Mike says, you two old bastards. Right. But let's make this a little more pleasant today. But yeah, we're gonna talk about we got a question in our Discord. A couple people asked us something. We're gonna talk about maybe who we think are some future Pirates, like who has a spot on this team. We're gonna talk about the upcoming Mets series, a 3-game series. There's an off day this week, Jim, and then of course we'll talk about our prospect wrap up. So I guess first thing first, let's get into this question we had, which I think is pretty good. I think right now, obviously, we're in the middle. Smack dab in the middle. It's the 14th, basically, of August. You've seen most of, and when I say most of the young bucks, the ones you expect to see this year, obviously, like Tamar's not here, Salameda's not here. Like, those guys are still a ways off a bit, but the guys you expected to see this year, they've all pretty much been here. You've gotten a good taste seeing like who has what, whatever. So I guess like let's kind of run down and see who has a future for this team.
I like it.
So where do you want to start? And I guess when
let's do this.
Let's do obvious. Or
like we don't have to talk about Brian Reynolds.
Does he have a future
or Brian Hayes? Like they're locked up. But like everybody else, I feel like we could do. And let's do this in a way like let's rank them. Like let's rate them 1 through 10. We don't have to rank the players, but give them a rating 1 through 10. 10, this guy is 100% going to be a key piece, in the future Pirates. 1 being there's no chance this guy has any role with the Pirates going forward. So, and then kind of anywhere in between. You want to do that?
I like it. All
right. Okay.
Do we want to? Okay, so we're giving up the obvious out, but like, let's start with Andrew McCutchen.
Future, like how far in the future, I guess, are we going? Like
the next winning team, because I think Andrew McCutchen might speak some volumes of what we think about that too. It's a
so. Question. I think this team, especially if they finish around 75 wins this year, which I think they can. I think they can have at least a winning record next season. Like I think that's within reach. A lot of stuff has happened pitching wise. So if I'm saying Andrew McCutchen 1 through 10, give me a 4.
And we're talking about winning team or playoff? Like this team's in contention, they're playoff bound.
Let's say playoff bound.
Okay.
4.
I like that number because again, it's loaded. I don't know. I don't think they're a playoff team next year. So we're talking like 2 years probably out. And it's Andrew McCutchen. I like the 4. I think he can hang around, but that long, I don't know.
Yeah. I'll go 4.
I'm going to go with 5. I might be a little bit more optimistic just because he's a young 37.
That's fair.
Jack Sawinski.
Whew. I'll go 6 with Sawinski, just because I feel like he has made strides this year, and I think it's possible he can continue to make strides. But there's always that kind of thought lurking in your background that he's just not good. And maybe the Pirates trade him for a piece later on because they realize that he's not really something that they need. I'll go 6. Yeah, I like that number.
It's hard to stray off that number. Actually, 6 is perfect because I think there's a better than 50% chance he's on the team. You know, he was traded for by Sherrington. The overall numbers are there. It's an outfield spot. They don't have a whole lot of depth at. I just feel like they might try to work with him. Maybe a new hitting coach helps him a little bit more. I'm with you, right? Like he's more frustrating than he is helpful, it seems. But he's still a 2-war player at this point in time this year. So I'll say 6. Connor Joe.
You know what? I'll actually go like 7 on Connor Joe. And what's saving Connor Joe is his service time. Like he's still going to be pre-arb going into next year. He has some value as like a bat off of the bench to face lefties and capable of playing a few different positions. So I'm going a little high here. I'm going 7 on Connor Joe. And that I think he'll at least be a part of the team.
I'm going to say 4.
All right.
I guess I say 4 because he'll be ARB eligible in 2025. Is he like 2 years from now? Is he seriously really going to be good? Like, are you going to pay to keep him around opposed to other options? Or are you just going to get a better option for probably the same amount of money? That's how I feel with Joe. I don't think he's good enough that they keep him around. He's in that in between. Like he's good enough to be on a team, but I think he's someone
you're willing to spend up to $4 million to have on your team. So that puts him as a Pirate for 3 more years.
Okay. I say 4.
All right.
Ji-Hwan Bae.
I'll give him, because of his versatility alone, I'll give him a 3. But he's got to hit a lot more than what he's shown so far. But the versatility alone gives him some value. He's young. He's got a lot of time. I'll give him a 3. Like that's higher than his level of play deserves, probably. Me and Bucko Mike tough. Almost like right in line on these.
I mean, that bodes well for you. Bucko Mike is the test. Like with him, the middle infield is just so rough. Castro's gone. He like a spot's there from the half. And like you said, because of the versatility, because of the speed, I feel like they really like they want to have him around. They want to push him to. They want him to be part of this future. I'm going 4. A little more optimistic. Not because I think he's really that good, but I think there's enough talent there that they'll hang on to him. They're going to try. Granted, in the minors right now, the few games he's played, been productive so far. Okay.
Fair.
So I guess the next guy is, I like to call him Tuke, Jim.
Tucupita Marcano has fallen way out of favor with me, and I think with the Pirates. I'll give Tuke a 1. Like, I don't think there's any chance Tuke survives the offseason, to be honest with you.
Ooh, that's a hot take. That's hot. The offseason even.
There's too many options.
I mean, I never liked him to begin with. That's harsh. I never liked the player, the talent. I liked him. I mean, he seemed like a cool guy,
Yeah, he
probably.
seems like a fine
I'm sure I
dude.
would
Yeah.
love to, but as a player, I never understood the trade. Now with the injury and like we already talked about the depth, I think they would prefer to have Bay. And like if you're looking at two guys, I'm kind of with you with the injury. Who knows? I don't know if he's going to not survive the offseason, but there's that chance. I'll go two though, just because again, like Charrington apparently loved him. He was focused and zoomed in to acquire him. I'm going to give him a 2. Henry Davis.
Probably
DFA,
if we
right?
were naming people, probably the person I'm most confident about. I'll give Henry Davis like a 9, maybe
Stopping
even
you
a
from a
10.
10.
But like
What's
I'll go
stopping you from a
9.
10?
I'll go 9, and the only reason I'm going 9 is just because he doesn't have a position. But at some point, he's going to be able to hopefully play a reasonable right field. I don't think they're going to have him catching at all, but the bat is going to come around enough that they're going to find him somewhere. So I'll go 9.
Bucko Mike gave him a 5,
I know,
as expected.
Very on brand.
Right. I would love to say 10, but I feel like with you two, the 9 is just simply there because he's the number 1 pick. That's Charrington's dude. Like to trade him would be so crazy. But the lack of the position, that could be some crazy way of acquiring like some blockbuster deal that goes down. Henry Davis, I could see being part of it. Just because Endy's there, the catcher spot, you've maneuvered or whatever, and this is your way of getting some great return. I don't know. But yeah, I guess I want to say like 9.9, but I'll say 9 because there's that chance.
Yeah.
Because of that reason. Josh Palacios.
I thought we were going young players.
I'm just saying him. I feel like there's going to be people who say 10.
I guess we went
Connor
dude. Joe. We went Connor Joe. So I guess we're going Palacios. 1.
Okay, fair enough. Same.
He's a lefty corner outfielder.
I'll say 0. A 0.
Yeah, like
I'm
1's the lowest. I'm going 1 through 10. So
fine.
1.
Jared Triolo.
I don't know how much value a corner infielder who can't hit for power is, but the defense is nice. I'll give Triolo like a 4. Like I think there's a chance that he sticks around as like a utility player, but he's going to have to hit more.
I say 5. I'm a little more optimistic. It's all the same reasons you say too, but I mean the fact that he can play second, he can play short. I know the bat's kind of light. I'm not saying there's nothing there. I'm not trying to say Jay Hay, but like those are all the things you said about Jay Hay, like when he first came up too.
Yeah,
So I could see and again, like we see the lack of defensively the middle infield has right now. And I feel like that's a way Triolo can find his spot just because there's nothing at shortstop. He could fill that backup role plus multiple positions. Like he could be what they hoped Marcano could be. Probably less than what they hoped, but still better than what Marcano is.
You could probably teach Triolo corner outfield spots too.
Yeah. I feel that.
Again, though, needs to hit.
For sure.
Nick Gonzalez. 2. The profile, I just don't think it plays much. And we talk about how crowded this middle infield is. I just don't know if there's gonna be room for him.
Yeah, he could be the next Castro in a year or 2. Traded off for hopefully not a falter this time, but something like that, just a piece. If Peguera's playing the way he is, yours already Cruz, like there's this logjam middle infielders. Tamar's eventually going to be coming up eventually. Yeah, I mean, Nick Gonzalez, do we believe in him as a prospect? We've said we've been souring him. I give it a 4 just because, like, again, that's a Charrington draft talent. There's still a chance he figures something out. I give it a 4. Endy.
10. Endy's a 10. He's your catcher of the future. He's a 10. He will
I'm
be on
right
this
with
team
it.
for a while. I think they even try to lock him up if they can.
He's more of a lock to me than Davis just because he's the catcher. But I feel both of them are part of this next one. I'm not going to go too deep. It's Indy. Piguero.
Ooh, 6. I'm gonna say Piguero at least carves out a role as like the backup middle infielder. You would love it for him to kind of take the reins on the second base job, which he seems to be doing. But I think he has a spot on this team. But I still don't know about the bat. It's good so far, but he needs to keep that up. I'll give him a 6.
6 is a really good number too, because so far he's looking the better. So far, still small sample size, but so far he's looking like one of the better of these middle infielders they've thrown out there. But it's hard to be confident in any middle infielder on this club right now. Like they could trade Piguero to get a more legit second baseman or something like that. So I feel like 6 is because so far he's shown to be the better one, but it's still not good. Alika.
Ooh. I think Alika Williams has some value just because of the glove, but I don't think he's going to like be on the roster when this team's good. So I'll go with a 2 on Alika Williams.
Right, what I was going to say too. And let me ask you this question: you doing Alika or Triolo?
I'll go Triolo over Alika.
And that's kind of where I'm at. You say the glove, right? But I'd rather have Triolo because he can play around, and I feel like the bat's probably better with Triolo as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so great. Okay, we know O'Neill is. Deep cuts. I guess we'll end it here because there's not too much after that. It's really, really interesting. But Kane Smith-Njigba for the hitters, I should say.
You want to think he could probably carve out the same role that Josh Palacios currently has. Like you want to hope that he can do that, but you can't bank on it. Like I'll go with like a 2 on Kane Smith-Njigba. Like it's possible, but I wouldn't bet on it.
That's where I'm at. The fact that like he had his opportunity and was sent rather quickly away, hasn't come back. They've been good with Palacios this whole time. Doesn't bode too well for me for him in their future. So yeah, I'll say 2.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess for the pitching, we can make this quick. Mitch Keller. I'm not sure if he's a quite obvious, so I'll say his name.
I'll go like 6 on Keller.
Oh, that's tough. I'll go slightly more optimistic than 7.
Okay.
Bednar.
5.
I can't go higher or lower. I just okay. Here's my reasons. I want to say 4, but like he should be gone already if they're not going to use him for when they're winning and competing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you don't hang on to him this long if you're not. I talk to myself. I'm saying a 6. I'm saying 6. Yeah. Okay. Oviedo.
Ooh, like a 9. I feel good about Johan Oviedo for a while. At least playing some role in this team.
Yeah. I guess I'll say 7. I'll say 7. Holderman.
6.
Fair. I'll go higher and say 7. Moretta.
2.
Ooh. Not big bank. 2. I'll say 4.
Yeah, who knows how long his shelf life is. That's all. Like,
yeah, no, I get that. It's kind of like the middle infielders. You can't be too confident right now, like the rest of the relievers we talk about. But like, there's certainly opportunity for all of them. I'll say 4. Beto.
1.
That's where I'm at. We'll move on.
Yeah.
Perdomo.
2.
Okay. I was gonna say 3. I like what I see so far, but he's also old, volatile, and he could be a pumpkin next year.
Yeah.
Ooh. Andre Jackson.
1. Like,
we
there's
just
a reason
hyped
why
him
these
up
guys.
all week.
I understand that, but like, I don't have faith that these guys can keep this up for years. Like, can he make a few spot starts? Sure, but is he on a good competitive team in the future? Hopefully not. Like,
that's fair. I'll say 3. You're probably gonna get a lot of 3s from me here. I'll say 3. Jose Hernandez.
3.
Wow. Okay. I was gonna go 5. I was like, he might be the one I'm most because simply he's a lefty. He's young, cheap. Of the not so goods, he's been the better of. I'll say 5.
Okay.
The king, Ryan Baraki.
1. Sadly, I'm gonna get some hate for that.
Yeah.
1.
Well, no.
Maybe 2. Give me 2. I'll go 2.
For the reasons he has so much value that you capitalize on it now. You go and get the number 2 prospect in baseball. Actually, you get Jackson Holiday, right, for Ryan Baraki. There you go. No, I'm going to say 3. I'm just going to say 3. Thomas Hatch, I guess. Let's throw him out there.
1.
Okay. Yeri De Los Santos.
2.
I'm going to say 3. I like the talent. Colin Selby.
2.
3.
Yeah.
Harman Majinski.
5.
It's right where I'm at.
Yeah. Definitely the
Also,
most confident of the young relievers. I am.
I say, yeah, like we've liked his talent. Also, a Sherrington guy. You know, it's not like he just some guy he picked up from the scrap heap or whatever. Like this guy you drafted, you developed. Probably a 5. Rowensy.
Ooh, they need him. I'll say that much. How much confidence do I have in him? I think he could at least be a reliever, but you need him to be a starter. I'll go 5 on Contreras.
I'm gonna go 8.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 8 with him, just for the fact that you're not as confident right now as you were. But I don't like he's a guy. I don't want to say like the Mitch Keller route, but like he's a guy you're not giving up on so quickly. And like you said, like if he isn't, he's probably at least in the bullpen. You're trying to develop. You're trying to work on him. He doesn't have any trade value, right? So I feel like he's still on the team at some capacity still, maybe in the minors.
Yeah.
Bailey Falter.
4.
I'm gonna go 3. Yeah. Yeah. He's whatever.
I think there's a chance. I think there's a chance he sticks, like a Steven Brault type. Priester.
Yeah.
6.
I'm going 4. I'm going 4 simply because we talked about Priester, like his limitations. By 2025, you're probably hoping Solomato's here, like some other guys, and he just might be the odd man out that, like, are you going to have him in the bullpen or are you going to try to trade him? He's still young. He was a top prospect. I feel like he could be a piece you trade to get something in return or whatever.
I don't think this team's in a position to trade arms with control.
Yes and no. I feel like, I mean, in 2 years from now, you make a couple free agent moves. He probably has some value because he's still looked as young and some other team can develop him. And You don't need another fifth starter. So that's all. What do we have left? Oh, Luis Ortiz.
I think Luis Ortiz will be on the team in some capacity. The stuff's too good. I'll give him a 7.
I'm going to give him the row treatment. I'm going to give him an 8 also.
I would say out of Contreras, Priester, and him, I'm most confident that Ortiz will have some sort of role.
So basically what you're saying is he will be a good bullpen arm regardless. Kind of like what you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Rowe, I can still question if he's a good bullpen arm.
Right.
Ortiz with his struggles, even I feel like he'll still be good in the bullpen. And I'm with you. And that's why I feel like I'm still giving the Rowan Z treatment. He's getting an 8 because he's going to be on this club in some capacity. Yeah. All right. I think that pretty much wraps it up then.
We didn't do oh, okay. No, you're good. JT Brubaker. JT Brubaker.
Oh, yeah, good call. That's why I didn't see him, because he has no stats this year. So we got to do Burrows and Brubaker. So let's start with JT. What's your take?
2. I like JT Brubaker. Like, I think he's a decent back of the rotation arm, but he'll have 4 years of service time. Coming off Tommy John surgery, I'm gonna go 2.
Gosh, yeah. Like the question I was gonna ask, I was gonna say 3 because also I feel like with him he could be a bullpen arm. I guess my question is, if it's 2025 and like it comes down to like, do you want JT or Quinn? Like I guess like my thought, like same thought process. Like I would probably rather keep JT, trade Quinn, than like
keep option Quinn. You don't have to trade him. You can send him to AAA. Like, but like right now, if you're making me choose between the, if you're choosing, if making me choose between the 2 right now, like I'd take JT like a healthy JT Brubaker over Quinn Priester.
Yeah, and I guess I'm saying like I feel like Quinn has a better value on the trade market than like a JT Brubaker, and that's why you get the value out of Quinn, you keep the JT, and you just like I would just rather sign free agents than keep Quinn Priester. I feel like that's the route. Wow, we're getting pretty harsh on Quinn. Anyways, okay,
real harsh on Quinn. Like he's 22.
I know. Burrows.
All right. I like Burrows at least as a bullpen arm, so I'm gonna go pretty high here. I'll go with like a 7.
I'm gonna say 5, just because uncertainty. Also, he's coming back from Tommy John. I haven't seen him yet either. I mean, you say this is him for JT, but you know he was also a prospect. You didn't really know what you had in Burrows either. I'll say 5. I'm just indifferent.
Okay.
All right. Does that wrap it up?
I think that wraps it up. Actually, let's go. Yeah, that's pretty much everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's good.
So, where do we want to go from here? We're doing prospects now, right?
Yeah, let's do some prospect talk. Let's start in the complex league. I think the obvious choice here to talk about is Paul Skeens.
Paul Skeens. Do we have some Paul Skeens talk on this show?
Paul Skeens makes his pro debut last week for the Complex League Pirates. He pitches 1 inning, gets 1 strikeout, so 1-2-3 inning. He threw 11 pitches, I think. And that's all he's going to do in the Complex League. He has now been promoted to the Bradenton Marauders. He will start for Bradenton on Tuesday, so tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. The cool thing about Bradenton games, you've got StatCast on there. You've got the games are broadcast. They're pretty decent quality because they're in Lecom Park. So, you know, they've got a decent setup for as far as minor league games go. So, yeah, tomorrow night, Paul Skeens on MILB.TV, 7:05.
Must see. Are you going to watch that? Or are you watching the Mets game?
I might have both up. I might.
Yeah.
I'll
both is the correct answer.
Yeah.
But yeah. Paul Skeens finally here now. what we've heard is probably going to pitch about 20 innings this year. They also said after the Bradenton start, they'll reassess where the next one's going to be. So it doesn't sound like they're hoping or like anticipating to just keep him there. Like there's potential he gets moved up again at some point. So that's interesting. Like I was wondering to see like what they would do this year with him. We all know he's probably very limited on his pitches, and now we hear 20 is about the cap. Do you think he makes it a double A this year?
Ooh, I could see him just skipping Greensboro altogether and going to and
Okay,
making like a couple appearances in Double A. I could see it.
gotcha. So you
So
think the
if you're,
move is
but if you're like, if you're holding a gun to my head, you're saying is Paul Skeens going to make Altoona this season? I'm gonna probably say no. I think there's a less than a 50% chance he does.
that's fair. I would like to. I would like to just say at least like the one like the last start. Like here's Altoona. Here's where you're gonna start next year because we know that's what's gonna happen. So here's Altoona. Now you
It
have
would
all
be
off season to look forward to it.
it would be something you could do too. Like Altoona's that's a game where if you start Skeens for Altoona and you give it enough leeway, like you give it enough runtime up ahead of it, like Altoona will sell that game out with standing room only crowds. Altoona's not that far from Pittsburgh. Like people will go to that game. If they like announce a week ahead of time or like 4 or 5 days ahead of time, hey, Paul Skeens is making his double A debut this day, that game will be sold out. So could be a nice little bone to throw from the Pirates to their double A affiliate as well. Not only is it good for development, give them some double A action, but it would be a good move to the actual Altoona Curve organization. That
Yeah.
game's bringing in like 10,000 fans.
Oh, for sure. Well, that's a good point you make there too.
Mhm.
What I was looking also is, are they playoff bound? That they're not that good. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what if he makes it? Like, what if that's it? Like he makes this like the spot start like in their playoffs.
Yeah.
That's not going
But
to
no,
happen.
so People's Natural Gas Field, which by the way is just a hilarious, I think, name for a ballpark. People's Natural Gas.
And
But
I love like the PNC and then PNG.
yeah, but it holds 7,200 fans, but they've got that big lawn area out there and left. Like that game, they would pack it. 9,300 is the record. I think they could get like right there
with a
for a
Paul
Skeens
Skeens
debut. Yeah.
I bet. Yeah, for a debut, like you're saying, I bet. Yeah. Well, either way, though, interesting. Paul Skeens is in the organization. He's now pitching. We can talk about him. We'll have some video on him, Statcast stuff. There was some Statcast stuff we could see as well for the last start. He was hitting 101. So all things that you'd like to see, right? If it's going to be one inning, might as well be perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right. Like if you're gonna have one inning, might as well be a perfect inning.
Cool. Let us move up to Bradenton then. I want to bring up a pitcher. I'm sorry, not a pitcher, a hitter. Just because it's one of those things too where it's a new guy. Let's talk about him. It's a 13th round pick, Jim, from this year's draft. Charles McAdoo. I don't know the take of him. I know he's like for this level, he should be doing pretty good. But holy hell, Jim, he is tearing up Bradenton right now. It's kind of like last week we talked about Jed, right? Like let's keep your eye on this guy. I don't know. He's performing so good, but he has a 300 weighted runs created plus right now in his 8 games, batting 565, 655, 870. He's got a 1,522 OPS. Where'd this come from? He's the 13th round pick, and he's balling out.
Yeah, I mean it's a college bat, right? College bat from a decent program. You expect those guys to come into low A and do well. Like that would be your expectation because they're probably playing at like a high A level in college. So
Right.
this is kind of more just like getting them into the swing of things, getting a wood bat, McAdoo put up some pretty good numbers at San Jose State. So, you expect him to be able to hit at these lower levels. Yeah. I mean, keep an eye on him. We always talk about the small sample sizes, right? It's been 6 games for him, but if you're gonna have 6 games, you might as well
8.
have 6 games like this,
Oh, wait.
where you have a 300 weighted runs created plus.
Oh, you know what? Fangraphs isn't updated. It's actually 7 games. Those numbers I spat out are actually old. They're even better. So he's batting 577, not 565.
There.
He went 2 for 3 yesterday with 2 walks.
Yeah, I mean, he's absolutely dominating the level. I don't really know what keeping him down there too much longer does for him at this point. those college bats, like once they show you that they're able to hit that level, like move them on up.
There you go. What you got, Jim?
Greensboro. Going to Greensboro. You know what? Speaking of college bats, we haven't talked about this guy really at all. 3rd round pick from last year, 22 years old. He started the year in Bradenton, but he's been with Greensboro the last 3 weeks or so. Jack Brannigan, they weren't very aggressive with him, but he had a good first half in Bradenton. First 3 weeks in Greensboro, he's got 8 homers in his first 18 games. That's ridiculous. Like, even for that stadium and that ballpark, he's basically homering every other day. He's got a 182 weighted runs created plus, still striking out a decent amount, but he's hitting 329. He's slugging 743 in high A ball. But just someone where we just haven't really given Jack Brannigan any talk or anything like that. I wasn't like a huge fan of the pick when they drafted him, but he does have some talent. Like, he was a good college ball player. He was a 2-way player. They're basically making him just third baseman only. But 8 homers in 18 games. I don't care where you're playing. Like, you gotta that's impressive.
I like it.
Yeah.
Altoona would be next, right? And I look at Altoona and I say, okay, you know what? Solomito's there. We've talked about him quite a bit. He's been shaky of late. He actually only lasted 1 inning yesterday. So Chen's there. He's been like on a nice little hit streak, but a lot of singles, not a whole lot of power. I know he's collecting hits every day, but still an 87 weighted runs created plus, not too well. So I'm going to switch back. I'm going to do something on these, Jim. I'm not talking about Altoona at all. I'm going to go back to Greensboro, because there's another guy that we actually haven't talked too much about either, who's putting in a really, really good performance. And like the past 2 starts, let me pull him up again. 9.2 innings, just 1 earned, 19 strikeouts in the 9.2 innings. Po-Yu Chen, he's putting up some really good numbers. Now, I know we talked about these arbitrary numbers, but just like he had a rough start, which also is part of why we haven't talked too much about him. But since May 11th, Jim, 84.1 innings, 2.88 ERA, 92 strikeouts, 28 walks. Po-Yu Chen putting up a really, really solid season right now in a hitter-friendly Greensboro also.
Yeah, and you look at Po-Yu Chen, you like the fact that he's a righty, but you like the fact that he's young. Like, he's 21 years old. He's in high A ball. He's been there the entire season. He really kind of burst onto the scene, pretty high profile international signing, but that complex league where he went like 24 innings or something with a 0 ERA, his first like 24 pro innings. Like, he absolutely dominated that level at 19. So he's kind of making his way through the system. You're right. He did struggle a lot to start the year. I don't quite know like what Po-Yu Chen's ceiling is, but you gotta, anytime you're a 21-year-old in high A ball and you're putting up respectable numbers, and now at this point, like, he's got good numbers. Yeah, you want to take interest with him. He's got a pretty deep pitch mix. Like, with Po-Yu Chen, the changeup is there already at such a young age. So when you see like that developed changeup already at age 21, it makes you interested in a guy, because that is the hardest pitch to know how to like throw and have command of. So the fact that you can get to that point at such a young age, it definitely raises your ceiling. Like being able to throw a quality changeup at age 21, you are putting yourself on a track to make the major leagues.
Right. Yeah, you like what you see.
Right.
And again, like with that number I said with May 11th, 14 starts, not one has gone more than 3 earned. So like he's been consistently just good. So again, kind of give him a love because we haven't really talked about him too much on this show. And Altoona doesn't really deserve too much right now.
Yeah,
So there you
fair.
go.
I mean, if Altoona doesn't deserve a whole lot, neither does Indianapolis. Really,
So who are we going backwards to talk about again? Because that's where I'm at also on
do
this
we just
one.
want to kind of go back to, and we talked, we did 2 people from Greensboro. Let's do, I mean, hell, let's do 2 people from Bradenton. I guess if we're gonna talk about college bats, like, do we want to talk about Mitch Jeb? So Mitch
Okay.
Jeb. So if you remember,
Oh,
I didn't have the kindest
remember.
words. I didn't have the kindest words about Mitch Jeb when he got drafted. I probably was a little bit too harsh on him. He burst onto the scene and he was hitting like 800 in his first, like, I don't know, 4 games, something like that.
Right.
He's fallen back down to earth quite a bit. He is now hitting 300. He has a weighted runs created plus of exactly 100 on the dot through 2 weeks. He yeah, the more you see of him, the more you're like, I don't know if this profile is gonna work or not. Obviously, you need to give him more time, but he's been a little bit of a slump this past week.
Yeah, I think that's all fair. Cool. Does that wrap up our prospect talk?
Sure.
All right. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I felt like we could talk about tomorrow, but he hasn't been playing too well. He's starting to back-to-back games with home runs. He's maybe starting to find his groove, less strikeouts in high A, but overall, still numbers aren't too good. Yeah, so that's why we didn't really talk about him. But I'm good with that. So let's move on then. We do have the Pirates entering a series with the Mets, a 3-game series we talked about. So let's talk about the series. What are you expecting now? If we were talking 4 months ago and saying, look at these Mets, you'd be pooping your pants and saying that the Pirates can get swept easily. Here we are. It's August 14th. And what is your take of this upcoming Mets series?
You look at this Mets team and they're a disaster. Like, top to bottom, just a disaster. It's incredible how a team that spends this much money can be this bad. But the Pirates are facing 3 starting pitchers this series, and I don't know if. Well, let me first read you the Pirates starting 3. So the Pirates are going with Quinn Priester, Bailey Falter, Johan Oviedo. I think, and they're facing Carlos Carrasco, David Peterson, and Tyler Miguel.
Mm-hmm.
The Pirates might have the better pitching matchup in all of those games. That's what's wild. Like, Carrasco's been bad. Peterson's been bad. Miguel's been, like, they've all been really, really bad. So, the Mets rotation lines up perfectly. And then the Mets offense is pathetic. Like, they're so bad. They can't hit. Like, Pete Alonso is putting together a decent season. Lindor's putting together a decent season, but a lot of that is just like, he hasn't been good lately. Lindor hasn't been good lately. Nimmo's having a fine year, but like the rest of this lineup, like Rafael Ortega, like who? He's a 32-year-old, and he's like starting center fielder for the Mets right now, and he's just god awful. Like, DJ Stewart is this team's starting right fielder. These guys suck. Like, they're a bad baseball team. So like the Pirates have a very good shot of going in here and taking 2 or 3. Like,
That's why I set up the question like I did. I understand the Mets are bad, and I feel just crazy thinking like I'm out of my mind saying I feel like the Pirates could take 2 out of 3. I feel like I mean, no one goes into a series saying like, "Oh, this team's going to sweep," but like I wouldn't be shocked if the Pirates swept the Mets. That's where I'm at. And again, if this is 4 months ago and the Pirates swept the Mets, you'd be going nuts. Like how I can't believe this happened. And at this point, if the Pirates do sweep the Mets, I wouldn't be shocked. I say, well, that makes sense. And we're talking about the 2023 Pirates.
Yeah.
And yeah, just like kind of put some numbers out there. I mean, since the trade deadline as well, because I mean, we know obviously the Mets unloaded. Since the trade deadline, the Mets have the worst pitching in baseball. Their ERA is a 6.73. Now, granted, it's not like Pittsburgh is doing fine. Pittsburgh they have an ERA as a 5.38, but still, like you mentioned, you're going and playing these Mets. They have the worst pitching right now since the All-Star break. And when it comes to the bats, it ain't that much better. So you're looking at weighted run created plus since the change the date here. My bad. Offensively, since the trade deadline, they have the 26th best offense, an 80 weighted runs created plus, whereas Pittsburgh is 19th with a 93. So again, it's not as if like Pittsburgh's like is so much better of a team, but this is what we're talking. Like, there's nothing to fear right now in these Mets, and they're just really, really, really bad. And you're talking about, I mean, just top down, like so many guys underperforming and guys that don't belong. Yeah, the Mets, like I could see a Pirates sweep.
They're bad, and their bullpen is terrible too. Like they're pitching like the Pirates should be able to hit because these starting pitchers they're going up against are garbage. And then if they can get to these guys, the bullpen garbage. So yeah, if you're the Pirates, you just had a pretty decent series against the Reds. Like the bats woke up, they were hitting the ball over the fence. You're
Atlanta,
kind
I
of
mean, Atlanta
yeah.
into Cincinnati, like yeah, they've
Mhm.
been playing good baseball. Well,
They've
better
been
than
playing like
anticipated.
they've
I
been playing
feel
decent baseball for who they are. Like, but everything's on a curve, right?
yeah,
They're playing
best way to
good.
put it.
They're playing good baseball for like who they are right now.
Right.
And yeah, like this Mets team is just a dumpster fire. Like here's a chance to go in and feel good about yourselves the next 3 days.
Yeah, I'm totally with that. And again, like when I'm saying this stuff, it's not as if I'm like expecting a sweep or talking sweep. I'm just saying, again, like when I say it, I wouldn't be shocked if they swept. That's just how bad the Mets are right now. But I think the Pirates could absolutely take 2 of 3. Now, of course, the Pirates are going to get swept, and we'll be talking about this on NS9 Live, saying what the hell's going on with the Pirates? And we pissed off at Shelton for whatever reason. But no, granted, like yeah, that's where this like series stands right now. I mean, they're talking about the last place Mets, in the division. Yeah, yeah, this is kind of crazy, but they are very bad.
Yeah, I think like if we're making predictions, we nailed the Brave series. I think we both said splits.
I'll say yes. I can't remember if I did say.
I think you did. But I
Okay.
think the
I know
Pirates
you
take 2 or
did.
3. I think Pirates take 2 or 3 against the Mets.
Do you want me to get spicy?
Get spicy.
I mean, I've been teasing it. It's not why I've been teasing it, but if I've been talking so much about I could see him sweep, let me just do it. Fine. You know what? I'm gonna say Pirates sweep.
Does Bailey Falter get his first win of 2023?
His very first win.
There we go.
Carrington was cooking.
You heard it here.
Yeah, let's do it. Pirates sweep. That would be fun. That would be interesting.
Yeah, let's just do it. They're certainly capable. Like this team, like again, complete dumpster fire. The Mets are.
All right.
They're bad.
Let's roll with it. Anything else we want to talk to discuss?
Nah, I think that's enough for today.
Works for me. All right, then. We'll see you tonight after the first Pirates victory towards the sweep. Until then, bye-bye.
See you all.
Hey, you all, thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.